Hey guys, Dim Gaming here, and let's talk Resident Evil 3 Remake. Capcom just dropped the Nemesis trailer, and oh boy is it amazing. They gave us so much. We also got a whole bunch of screenshots, and way more gameplay, and let's dive right into that. So, as it's called the Nemesis trailer, it's only fitting we talk about our boy Nemesis. This was our first proper look at Nemesis. Yeah, we got to see a couple of screenshots, but we didn't actually get to see him in action, and he looks even more terrifying than he did in the original. I didn't even think that was possible, but with the RE engine, it's definitely possible. The craziest thing about Remake Nemesis to me is the fact he has a goddamn flamethrower. As if he wasn't deadly enough with a rocket launcher and just his tentacles and his patented clothesline, they went and gave him a flamethrower. This is going to be really interesting because that's another weapon you've got to dodge, and flamethrowers have a really wide spread. Backtracking slightly, the rocket launcher is one of Nemesis' weapons. However, it's not shown in the trailer. I think they just wanted to showcase off his new weapon, the flamethrower. However, here's a screenshot that accompanied the trailer showing that he indeed does have his classic rocket launcher. I know a lot of people were up in the air on how the new Nemesis looked. However, having our first look at Nemesis actually in the game, in gameplay, I'm really happy. The two screenshots we got when the leaks first came out originally about Resident Evil 3 Remake, I wasn't so sure, but he still looks and feels like Nemesis, and I'm probably going to be running away screaming like a little girl as I did in the original one because he looks terrifying, and I can't wait for that. One little final thing I noticed about Nemesis: if you pause it when he's going to punch Jill in the burning hallway, you can see he's actually wearing a mask. No idea why he's wearing a mask, but he definitely is. This brings me on to my next point, which coincides nicely with the footage in the background. Let's talk about the UBCS members. So, from what I can see, Mikhail seems to be in a lot better condition than he is in Resident Evil 3. He's actually up and about and talking and walking around, as you can see. Nikolai still looks like his evil conniving self, which is really cool. They didn't really need to change Nikolai much, and I like the direction they've gone with him. What's interesting as well, Tyrell seems to have a bigger role. You can see him in the trailer with Carlos and with the main group of UBCS, which is quite interesting considering originally he's only in the game for about 2 minutes and either dies by getting shot or throwing a hand grenade, killing himself. That kind of brings me on to my next point. As you can see, they were all gathered with some civilians in a subway car. Now, I do believe the subway car in Raccoon City subway is going to replace the tram, and it kind of makes more sense. What's interesting as well is we have seen the Raccoon City subway in Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. It's the second level called Underbelly, which is quite interesting, so it's actually a welcome change to see that come back, because it's one of my favourite levels in Outbreak File 2. But I digress. As you can see with this screenshot here, which did accompany the trailer, it does show Jill in the actual subway, so it does look like you do get to explore it more than just going to the subway car. So that's going to be quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that part of the game pans out. Keeping on the subject of locations, this is more of a familiar one to Resident Evil 2 Remake. So there is a part of the trailer where we do see Carlos and Tyrell going to the RPD. I don't know why they're going to the RPD. It's rather interesting because it didn't obviously happen in the original game, but we do know that Capcom said there are going to be changes. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Backtracking back to Carlos, obviously in this trailer we finally get to see gameplay confirming that you do get to play as Carlos. It's kind of obvious that you are going to get to play as Carlos because you play as him in the original. However, like was mentioned in the PlayStation magazine review, you're able to play as Carlos, and by the looks of things for a lot longer. And also interestingly, in the short bit of gameplay we did see where Carlos is shooting with his M4, he ends up pointing it at a hunter. That's the first time we've seen an enemy that isn't a zombie or Nemesis in the Resident Evil 3 Remake leaks and media. I'm really excited to see the hunters come back. It's the first time they've been in an RE engine Resident Evil title, so let's see how they do and let's see how scary they can be. The final thing I noticed from watching the trailer a bunch of times, at this point I've literally watched it about 200 times, there was nothing showing Brad. So I do definitely think Brad is going to meet the same fate at around the same time, so the beginning quarter of the game, which is quite sad. I know they said his role was going to be different, but his destiny is probably going to be the same, unfortunately. So rip Brad, and hopefully we don't see you getting a technical through the mouth in 4K. So that's the end of the video, guys. As per usual, let me know what you think, what your thoughts are on the new trailer. Now we've got to see Nemesis. Are you excited to play as Carlos? How much bigger do you think his role is going to be? And yeah, just let me know what you think of the video itself. I'd love to know. Your feedback is mucho important to me, and it helps me grow as a content creator. So as usual, this is Dim Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.